Good evening, my brothers and everyone in the chat. How we doing?
Good, mate. How are you, Brian?
I'm good, mate. That was a thoroughly enjoyable game. I said for once, we always say it looks like men against boys, but today it was boys against men, and I
And
expected a bit.
yeah, absolutely. And it was boys against men, but it looked like men against boys in the other direction. So it was great to see, particularly that second half, the youthful exuberance coming through. Mikey Moore on the right hand side, Will Lancashire up front, Bergval and Devine running things from the middle of the park. But I want to give you this time to wax lyrical about Alfie Devine, because I know you've been waiting a long time for this moment.
Listen, I've been speaking, like, let's face it, I've been coming on to We Are Tottenham TV now, what, 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit less. Whenever I've gone on these shows or spoken to friends, I've said, we've got the diamond in the rough. This boy's going to come through and do wonders. And he's had his loan, and obviously Plymouth didn't work out quite so well. Port Vale, he excelled. What I loved about his performance today is he's not one of those with the flicks and tricks and show posting. He was always available for the ball, always making angles. The pass with the outstep of the foot to get Werner the assist for, who did Werner set up for the, I can't remember, Spence. It was just a very accomplished performance. And I know Alfie Devine at the moment, people are like, with all these youngsters coming through, the Donnellys, the Moores, and correct, they're coming through. Alfie Devine's name has been kind of lost amongst the great expectations of these youngsters. And he's come on and done himself no harm whatsoever. Do I think he'll still go out on loan this season? Yeah, probably. And I think it's probably best for him. But he showed today what he can bring to this football team. And to me, Alfie Devine, I will always stand by. I think he's a tremendous prospect. And today he put in the performance I've been waiting for, like you said, Ben.
It's actually a good point you make there about Alfie Devine going out on loan, because you see a lot of players that came in today and a lot of players did a good job. Out of the youngsters that came in, which ones do you think can have an impact in the first team next year, and which ones do you think will end up going back out on loan?
So first of all, when you say that, let's talk about the one that you wax lyrical like I do, Divine and Stimin. You can't talk about a generation or a youngster without this 24 karat gold diamond sparkling brightly in Mikey Moore. I put a tweet out during the game and I said, and I've said this before, he's our Michael Owen, he's our Robbie Fowler, he's our Wayne Rooney. When everyone's going, oh my God, how dare you use these names? Well, apart from Liverpool fans and Everton fans and obviously United, when Rooney went, no one had heard of these players coming through like we're having about Mikey Moore. This kid is just so special. He showed it with England. He got a lot of people that watch England talking about how good Mikey Moore is going to be. And he's just excelling, isn't he? Nothing faces him. He's definitely going, well, he can't go on loan because of his age. Who do I think? Listen, the youngsters, Lancashire look really good. Big concern that both him and Valise went off, obviously with knocks they picked up. Obviously, that's probably precautionary. Donnelly looked great. Listen, you can wax lyrical about the youngsters that came on, really, couldn't you? I think a few of them will go on loan, but I think you're looking at your Donnellys, your Moore, Bergval is obviously going nowhere. Archie Gray, who in defence, let's just talk. Obviously, when we signed him, I came on and we were waxing lyrical. This guy played in the central defence. Yes, he misjudged a couple of balls or whatever, but it was like, go play in defence with Ollie Skip next to you, and form a defensive partnership. Don't get it wrong, Hearts were woeful, but Archie Gray looked like he's been at Spurs for a while. On the other hand, Simeon, yesterday you and I were doing an update on Emerson, and if that fee was too little, take the money. And go, mate, it took 1 minute, but get the youngsters, it was a joy to see. So yes, it's only Hearts, but come on, we've just had to watch England and bitch and moan about how poor and defensive and sitting back England were. Well, Tottenham did the anti-England, and it was a joy to see, wasn't it?
Brian, what do we do moving forward now? As someone who is obviously going to put pressure on Daniel Levy to spend money, what would you say?
Pressure? He's already.
What would you?
Simeon, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? You're painting me in a bad light.
No. I'm just asking. I got a question. What?
I
So
know,
what do you
brother,
say if Ange decides, or that some of these youngsters are good enough and they're good enough for the first team and they're good enough to be used, and we don't spend big money in certain positions? How do you strike that balance between spending big money on certain positions and having players like we saw today develop and be used?
Okay, so like last season, I was saying I wanted to see a bit more of Donnelly rather than just trial and error and trying to fight. So someone like Donnelly, obviously, he's a player, so you think about his position, you may not need to invest heavily there. What I will say, and one talking point before we get into that, and you've all been waxing, look, Jed Spence, bloody hell, where that performance was, obviously, again, it's only Hearts, but that was a performance I didn't know he had in him. So do you look at it, now you look at it, and could that have been okay, General, I'm over here, come and get me? Or could that be an Ange Postecoglou, this is what I could do, stick with me? Emerson's gone. Now the conversation needs to be, do we need to invest in another right back when we do have Spence there? That's the topic of conversation. I think, listen, where we need to spend big as a striker, it doesn't matter how many youngsters or how well Lancashire did or whatever, and Valise when he came on, we need a recognised, established 20-plus goal a season striker to be up there and do it. That's where we need to spend money. I think we need to spend big on another midfielder and a left centre-back, although Phillips came on and done well, someone we've spoken about a lot as well and did yesterday. So there are areas, but I think there is a lot of food for thought there. But that shouldn't distract from not spending where it's needed. But we needed to see what these youngsters were capable of. They showed it. Special mention, I don't know if you mentioned it as well, to that save from Brandon Austin in the first half, which was sensational. And Simeon, how badly did we get the predicted lineup?
Quite badly, but in our credit, it's not the easiest one to do. But yeah, wasn't our finest predicted lineup.
Exactly, but yeah, I think, listen, there is food for thought. One thing I will say, I'm not going to get over carried away and say, oh my God, now look at this. It's like the class of '92. We're going to do stuff like Manchester.
Someone's already said that on this stream.
Listen, let's. The one thing I don't want to do, it was a very, very exciting performance to see. We've all wanted to see what this young crop of youngsters could do. We've seen what they're capable of against Hearts. Do you think if we play Manchester City, Liverpool, the Filth, or anyone like that, they're going to be able to do that? I highly doubt it immediately. But there was a little bite-sized piece to say, right, you want to see what the youngsters have got in them? Well, that's what they can do. Now we've got to nurture them. The most important thing is the correct progression and the pathway for it, whether that be a loan, whether that be they stay. But from what we just saw, it was refreshing and exciting to see some attacking football again.
Yeah, and hopefully more of the same on Saturday. But Brian, thank you so much for coming on once again. We'll see you and speak to you very, very soon.
You will indeed, and I'm not going to do my normal saying. I'm just going to give a massive big up to my boy Alfie. Alfie Divine doing divine things. That's all I'll say.